What it do, baby?
What it do, thirds? What it do, and what it do to everybody? Welcome back to the No Cap podcast. This is episode number 3, and we got a special guest for you today. But before I call her in, our first lady on the podcast, I'm gonna first introduce the members of the podcast that are here with me, starting with the man who's still not in Japan, playing for the San Neo Phoenix. What's up, 3D Ravenna? What's up,
Hey,
nerds?
what's up? What's up, bro? Nice to
What's
see
up?
you
What's
again.
up?
I miss y'all.
And joining us as well, joining us is from PPL, Zamboanga Family brand Sardines. What's up, Anton Asischo?
What's up, bro? What's up, guys?
What's up? What's up? And live from the US of A, it's like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. up there. What's up, Mark?
It's not a good morning. Y'all woke me up.
It's not a good morning. So we just woke Mark up like 20 minutes ago. He was on his bed and he's like, what, 3 hours of sleep? You're operating like 3 hours of sleep?
Maybe two
But-
and a half.
But the dedication is there from Mark Salandanan.
You know
So-
the vibes?
the mastermind to this whole thing. But before we introduce our guest, I just wanted to talk real quick to Third. So 30, you posted on your Instagram the other day of a song that was made by a couple of your close friends. Can you
yeah.
kind of talk about Dio and what that was all about?
Honestly, I didn't know about it till they put it out. So I was talking to Ivan on FaceTime that time. Tapos sabi niya, bro, teka lang, may ipopost na ako. So I was waiting. Tapos nakita ko na lang, he tagged me in a post. And then I listened to the song. And then, heard what they made for me. And I heard they were, it's been like more than a month na tinatrabaho nila yung song na yun. So, I mean, it really means a lot, especially it was made by my best friends. And definitely motivated me more to excel and just, bring the whole country with me in Japan and represent.
So
Making
that song was
history.
Dio, right? That's a song. It's a pretty good song,
Yo,
honestly.
It's a banger, bro.
It's a pretty good
It's a
They
banger.
recorded that on their phones, just saying. There was no computer involved.
Wow.
It was all
So
on phones.
for everybody listening, that's Dio by Ivan Jose and Jules Santiago, our
Shout out
batchmates.
Ivan, Jules.
So you guys can listen to that on SoundCloud. We'll try to put it in the link in our descriptions for wherever you're watching this. But let's move on to the actual guest that we have on our podcast today. The first lady in the podcast, and as well the first non-basketball athlete that we're gonna have. She is playing in the PVL right now for the Chocomucho Flying Titans, a two-time UAP women's volleyball champion, the finals MVP in season 81. Pretty established person, and for the first time, a guest that we've had na I could say is my friend before actually meeting them on the podcast. What's up, Bea de Leon?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank
Nice
you
to
for
have
having
you.
me here.
So first things first, just quick kamustahan. What's up with you right now? How have you been for I know we talked like 2 weeks ago, but how have you been for the last like 4 or 5 months?
I'm doing pretty well. Same thing every day. Kind of getting used to the whole new normal, staying at home. Okay naman, just going with the flow. Yes, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually start by talking about your now and what you're up to now. So to that same parang frame of thinking, are you able to train right now? I know you're playing pro, but are you able to train and with the team individually? And what's the status of your season?
In terms of training, we have Coach Mig Saiton. We're very lucky to have him on our team. So he keeps us up to date.
AP.
Yeah, AP.
AP.
Aitona Performance.
Hey,
I don't know,
AP.
performance shout out.
Shout out AP.
Yeah, so he gives us programs. Buti na lang. He's also very young, I guess. So talaga nag-innovate siya with it and has an online platform now, a lot easier for us to communicate. So we have workouts every day. And the whole team gets together once a week. Kamustahan din. And yun, just really trying to stay in shape as much as we can. invested in my gym stuff because, as you guys know, I was
I saw
injured.
your story
So
the other day.
yeah, I'm happy about it. But yeah, yun lang. And in terms of our season, we have no idea what's gonna happen at all.
Yeah.
Wala pa kami
So
balita, sadly.
like nothing at all. So that's pretty tough because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are also depending on that and trying to figure out like what's the next steps with them. Pero as far as we know, you're actually doing some stuff right now. So Mark's gonna continue on and ask you about like other things that you're doing beyond just training.
Yeah, so Colin mentioned that you are taking your master's in sustainability. Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah.
correct.
So, what made you take this course?
That's a good question. What made me take it? To cut it a bit short, it's the same thing that happened to me when they people ask how I got into volleyball. I really don't know. I think it was just there. The story behind it is because I was gonna take my 5th year. I had to enroll in masters, diba? So that's the process. And I didn't know what to take. Couldn't take an MBA. Wasn't really into com because that's usually the ones we take, diba? So I didn't know. And then um I think you guys know Ate Cam. So basically, someone in the office said, I told her, Ate Cams, I'll just take com because I guess that's the usual naman. And then she said, why don't you take sustainability? And it's like, meron na palang ganon. I didn't know at all. So clearly, I didn't do my research, but I didn't know there was anything like that yet. He's like, yeah, Isaac's doing the same thing. So it's like, oh yeah, it's something I'm really interested in. And what's interesting about it is because sustainability, when talk about sustainability, talks about the three P's, so people, profit, and planet. So it's a good balance for me for everything. There's still the profit side, the business side to it, but at the same time balancing it with social and environmental issues. So to me, I think it was just the way to go, especially now with the times today, diba?
Oh yeah,
Parang I think it's really very
Important.
contemporary.
that's a solid.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
solid. That's
Yeah,
solid.
clearly. And it's very Atenean to be honest.
Very, yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Medj, but sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, I just want to ask you about your role with Ateneo right now. I heard you're part-timing with them.
Yeah. That
So, can you talk to us more about that? Like, how's that like going for you?
um it just ended actually. I started with the AAS, the Ateneo Institute of Sustainability, for part-time last February, March. I'm not sure anymore. But the head Doc Achut was my prof in one of my classes in masters, and she said, I think I want to get you to help out in the office for a specific project. So it was the third sustainability report of Ateneo, and fortunately enough, I was able to help write it and gather the data and go through the process of sustainability reporting. So that was basically it. We launched last week as a gift to Father Jet. So thank God we got to
Oh
release
yeah,
it.
it's his birthday.
We got to release it before he left. So yun, basically sustainability reporting is something that institutions, companies do now to report again on the three main things: economics, social, and environmental issues. So it would range from GHG emissions to health benefits to expenditures and all the type of stuff. So,
Si 30
but basically
parang
you're just presenting us.
30, spell expenditure. Spell.
Sinabi niya GH. Na-spell ko. So, I mean, to me, that sounds like medyo alien yung sinasabi mo. Pero, gets ko pa rin naman. And
I'm sure
again,
you do.
we've actually had this conversation, diba? Yung, if you still envision yourself playing volleyball, if yes, describe to us or tell us how long you'd be playing pa. You know.
Well, I think it's the same for all of us. You always kind of say "Yoko na," but then the moment it's there and you're like, should I move on? Parang you kind of can't let it go. I think all of us here would know that feeling. Parang, it's so easy to say, parang, I'm tired na, whatever. It's just the same thing every day. Parang I want to move on, do something new, do something different. It's been this my whole life. But I think that's why we've been here our whole lives, because we really love it, no matter how much we deny it. So I think I'll play for a bit more. I'm really looking to get a second wind in my career. So I'm not going to stop till I reach that. And I don't know yet when that's going to happen. Hopefully within the next 3-5 years. But I think compared rin to other people, I might do it a bit shorter. Hopefully. We'll still see. Because yun nga, I think this is a path I also want to take and really want to explore already. And of course, age is a factor when it comes to exploring job opportunities and whatnot. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, that's still great news, especially for, you have a lot of fans and they're always, anxious to know whether or not you're playing. It's always been,
Yeah.
The story with you. And yun nga, speaking of exploring, do you see yourself exploring other paths, like specific paths right now, or things that you want to do in the future?
Right now, I don't know. I think I'm just trying to focus on volleyball, getting recovering for now and getting ready talaga for once it comes back, and then focusing first on the sustainability track. Can't have too much on my plate rin. So, and parang the more you have in your head, sometimes the more choices you have, mas gugulo ka lang eh. So parang I'm just trying to stick to these first, and then we'll see. If stuff come up, then why not, diba?
Okay, B. So I got a question for you, and I mean, I always tell this to people, like you're the exemplar for me for what it is like to be a student athlete. Na parang you're someone
Naks
if you remove athlete,
naman.
legit. Sinasabi ko parang sinasabi ko like yun yung sinasabi ko parang athlete siya na sobrang sineseryoso niya yung other things. You know what I mean? Like you could remove the athlete part, and I'd still say you're one of the smarter people that I know. But at the same time, now you've also been pretty outspoken about like social issues, and a lot of times athletes get critiqued for that, parang yun nga, the whole shut up and dribble type of thing. Have you actually gotten that from fans in your time doing those social talking about those social issues?
Me personally, because I don't. When I already see that it's a hate tweet, I skip it. So I'm pretty sure I've gotten them, but nothing specific comes to mind. So
Yeah, all right.
I avoid it.
You're really the type to just be like, yeah, screw this, whatever.
Oh yeah, damn if you do, damn if you don't. They're there. Nothing's gonna change their mind about you, honestly. So
True.
I don't
Very true.
try and kind of waste my energy on it. Kasi honestly, it takes a toll on you. And of course, no matter what you say na wala akong pake dyan, in a way, when they say those hurtful words, sakit din eh. So,
Let me follow up on that, Colin. So, I mean, I've watched you play, and then I feel like you're such a confident player. But just like what I asked on our last episode, have you ever had self-doubt?
oh yeah. My gosh.
And then
Insane.
yeah, you want to like touch
Yeah.
up on it?
I think especially in my 5th year, I think that was my biggest struggle. Because I was injured and it was hard. I didn't know how to balance the mindset. My knees really hurt, both of them, but it was my 5th year. And I think Anton 30 could super relate. Your 5th year, you want to be the best you can be in all aspects of it, from scoring to defending to being the leader. You want to get to do it. Unfortunately, it took me a while to accept that wasn't going to be my role, because I guess it was a factor that it was injured. I don't want to blame it all on it, of course. But it was hard nga, again, to balance it, because I wasn't producing the same numbers I used to. I used to average 10 points a game. It would be easy. Got into my 5th year and I would average 6 points, 5 points a game. And to me, that was really bad. And the first parts of it was really bad. So self-doubt, in my head is like, am I just weak? Am I just using this as an excuse? Because yun nga, diba? I mean, we're built to be tough. We're built to say, bahala na yan, kaya mo yan, kakayanan mo yan. Just get up every day and keep doing what you're doing. So yun, I had a lot of self-doubt and just thought maybe just, it was hard for me. Parang mahirap siya tanggapin for me na ganyan ka kasi may factor nga na injury ka. Parang I didn't want to accept the fact na because may injury ka, bababa yung laro mo. It took me so long kasi parang for me, if you're tough enough, you can do it. But, it's still kind of hard pa rin, but it is what it is.
I know that was tough on you too kasi everyday kita nakakasama sa Moro ng time na yon tapos may mga times na talaga umiiyak ka. Pero
yeah. It was hard
kasi yung taste niya ni Bets nun. Shout out Ma'am Beta.
True. It was hard kasi morning we train, diba? And I think you guys have heard naman the culture in volleyball. Our coaches are very extra time, do more, So, mag-extend kami. Yeah, diba? Mag-extend kami from like 6:30 all the way to 11. Then I'd have to go to therapy. And then we'll have to be back by 3:30 because call time's 3:30. And then parang, you get through the morning training and you said, okay, I got through that. But then a few hours later, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, I have to go through that again, go through the pain again, get all the warm-ups in again. It was kind of tough.
Oh, dude.
So a lot of doubt there.
Dude, grabe yung morning training nila. Nakakasabay sila sa morning magbuhat minsan. Nahihiya na ako magbuhat eh.
Gusto ko yung siningit mo rin na nagte-train din ako.
Nagte-train din ako eh.
Alam na
let the people know na you were there rin eh.
Hey, I was there.
He was grinding.
But actually, we were gonna talk about your championship a little bit later. But I don't wanna like preempt that. But at the same time, I also wanna ask from that, like, how did you move past that self-doubt, considering that you won Finals MVP? You ended up winning Finals MVP that year.
I think it came a lot with accepting my role that year. Talagang it took a lot, but once I said na, I needed a lot of help from my coach, in fairness. The first few games, I sucked on all ends, even leadership. And that was on me. Because it was, diba? It's on you if hindi mo matanggap yung role mo eh. And they needed you to be that. And we were winning, but we weren't producing the numbers we wanted for the team to make sure we'd get our goal. Kasi beginning pa lang eh, diba? You had to set standards. So coach, after the fourth game, I think, nilabas niya ako. It was so sad for me. Kasi imagine senior ka, fifth year ka, captain ka. And then we were I think against UST maybe round one. Then we lost the second set maybe. And then we were doing really bad. Nilabas niya ako for like a whole half a set. And then sabi niya, siligaw niya, umayos ka naman dyan. And I was like, oh my God. Then I started tearing up. And then it was super embarrassing because you're in front of a crowd, diba? I don't want to cry. Hello. So, yun, after that, Ate Mona went up to me, said, pretty tough love rin, said, ang tanda mo na hindi ka na namin kailangan intindihin dapat. So, it kind of woke me up, kind of punched me in the gut. And then after that, coach said, never ko naman kinailangan yung points mo. Kailangan ko lang yung leadership mo. So, from then on, sabi ko, you know what, he's right. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm producing the points I want. What matters if the team produces what we want, where we want to be. And if my leadership is going to help that, then you go there, diba? You do whatever the coach needs you to be, the team needs you to be. So, yun naman.
That's awesome. That's the stuff that you want to hear. You know what I mean? That you're never going to see if you're like, unless I talk to you in person, you know what I mean? So we'll talk a lot about your college life, but we want to also start by actually talking about how you started in volleyball all the way and move towards that. So we'll start with that. And Anton's gonna ask those questions to you.
Okay, so first of all, how did you get started with volleyball, and at what moment did you think that you were good enough to play at a high level?
It's pretty much the same story as when I discovered this sustainability thing.
But you were like 9.
I started late. I started at high school. First year high school, I didn't know anything about volleyball except when they would teach you in PE and make you do
With sila Rona, that's when
bounce
you
pass. Oh yeah, if you guys know Lax Bachoko, she was Poveda and she was our batch. Anyway, we were first year, and then she said, "You're pretty tall. You should try out for the volleyball team." And that was it. So I was like, "Yeah, I guess why not?" Because I used to play badminton, and then I stopped. Then I guess being the athlete in me early on, I like playing sports. So when Lax told me you should try out for the volleyball team, I did. And I guess, naturally at the time, matangkad na ako eh. So, the coach welcomed me talaga. Like, yeah, for sure we could use a player like you. But I didn't know anything. Didn't know how to... Nothing. Didn't know how to approach. Didn't know... The only thing I knew how to do was serve. Because I guess I played badminton. So it was there. But that was it. As in... And then, at that time, I was still pretty tall. So, yun yung simbi naman ng coaches na you can't buy height eh. So, a lot of them, lucky enough, saw me because we played at least in the WNCA. Even if we played dead last. I'm telling you, dead last.
Go Poveda.
Every year. Yep, dead last every year. And yun. And then, the first school I went to actually for summer training was Salle. And then Coach Ramil, I think the volleyball people would know that Coach Ramil really likes tall players. So yun, that was also the point of interest for him until my dad said, let's go to Ateneo, let's try. Though he was LaSalle and he's like, let's just try. In my head, I was like, why do we even bother? I'm going to go to LaSalle. and then for some reason, I just felt at home there. So I went for Ateneo, but going to your question, Anton, asking now when did I realize that I felt I could play at this level? I don't know. I think I never thought. Now that I look back, kasi I sucked, like really sucked. But I guess there, like you can ask my seniors when I came in. I didn't even know some of the rules. I didn't know it, and they would always ask me. Because there's a rule, if you guys are medyo well-versed on the basic volleyball rules. When the setter's at the back, they can't attack, meaning they can't drop the ball or anything. I didn't know that. So, I would jump when the setter was jumping, when it was apparently just a natural thing to jump set. But I thought they would drop it. And then they said, like, why, but talon ng talon? It's like, baka i-drop niya eh. So, and I said, and he said, hindi naman pwede. It's like, talaga ba? So I was like, oh, okay. So that's the level of volleyball I knew.
Uh-huh.
But so looking back,
You've come a long way.
I think naman.
That's like
looking back, yeah.
That's like going into the collegiate basketball level, not knowing what 3-second violation is or something. No.
Yeah.
Parang ganon.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Basic
and
rule yun.
That's crazy.
And then but I think every athlete, for any athlete who wants to succeed, I think kailangan kang may konting yabang eh. So in my head, when I was a rookie or kahit ano pa, I would look at sina Ate Lai, Ate Den, whoever it was, and I'd say, "Uy, kaya ko rin yan." That's it. I think that was really just the mindset I had. That when they would do it, I was like, oh, I think I can do that. Probably when I do it, I thought I was. Apparently, I wasn't. Or like, but in my head, they'd get mad at me like, "You're not doing it right." In my head, it's like, I think I am. So I don't know. It's a mix of being stubborn, saktong confidence in yourself lang talaga. So there was never a time na parang, oh wow, I can do it. I was just like, yeah, go with it, keep going.
As far as we know, Poveda isn't really a big producer of elite volleyball talent. So what went into that decision? Like, how come you moved to Poveda?
Well, my parents wanted me talaga to move there. I think it was their dream school for me. That was basically the reason. So there was never any factor of oh, you should go there because the sports program is better. Not in my lifetime at that point did we consider anything like Bea should be in the varsity or anything. So none of that went to the decision factor except for the fact that they wanted me to go to Poveda. So talagang everything for me, I think it was a lot by chance. I don't know. I think it was just meant for me, regardless of how
Yeah,
cheesy
that's
it
crazy.
sounds. Yeah.
Because if you didn't go to Poveda, then Lax might have not talked you into joining
Yeah.
the team. No? Yeah, that's kind of
Exactly.
crazy.
Let me follow up. So you played Poveda. So freshman palang varsity ka na. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, freshman pala, I tried out na and then I was in the varsity. Would
When did
play in the
you?
leagues.
Yeah. When did you start
Go.
taking it like super serious?
Siguro mga third year high school, it was getting a bit competitive on our level at least.
Uh-huh.
That's when they
Um,
realized that hey, we have one good player that could actually. I think that's what they were telling me. Like we just give Bea the ball the whole time. That's what I remember.
Get up.
well, kasi it came with the fact that our coach then became coach Tabaquero. So she's a UST alumna. Very, very good player, champion player. So, syempre, ako, personally, hindi ako nanonood before eh. So, hindi ko talaga alam. Until my teammates started going like, hey, let's get Tabaquero, the player of UST. So, I think we got inspired by that also, na parang, hey, she's coaching us and maybe we can be like her and play for a college team. I think it just started with that.
That's cool.
And then so you said third year it became kind of competitive. So looking back, would you have transferred from Poveda to go to a school that produces volleyball, athletes? So like
UST.
like
Or had a
UST.
better program.
Yeah.
Looking back, if I were I think no pa rin. Because really, playing for college, even going through the high school, of starting to become competitive, playing in college wasn't even in my, like,
Agenda.
I wouldn't say, yeah, it wasn't in my agenda at all. So, I don't, to me nga, it was like, typical Poveran. I was like, nah, I don't want to play. I want to have a life. I want to have a college life. I want to be with my friends. That I had that mindset talaga.
Poveda.
Walrus.
Something like that. That it was something like that. So it was never in me to be like, yeah, I want to be in the UAAP. I want to play for Ateneo. Nothing like that. So maybe at that time I still wouldn't have transferred anywhere. But I guess now I've thought about it. Now parang as much as I want, like let's say I have a daughter or whatever, as much as I want them to go to Poveda also because I love the culture and I love what they teach. Parang I'm also a bit concerned. What if I wanted to become an athlete? It's a lot more competitive now, at least especially in the volleyball scene. So maybe I'll have to consider that. But for me, I have no regrets of like not going to another school or whatever.
And I guess it worked for you then kasi para ka naging big fish in a little pond. So
Yeah, shout out to Kib Montalvo.
Sabi nga ni Kib
Sabi
Montalvo.
nga ni Kib Montalvo. So talagang na-discover ka, standout ka doon. So I guess, at the end of the day, that worked for you.
So you mentioned that that apparently you're supposed to go to LaSalle, and I guess it was no secret to everyone but me kasi di ko alam yun. But then, so can you touch up on more like the recruitment process? Like, how did it go for LaSalle? Why did you choose Ateneo over LaSalle? And apparently your dad's an alumni of LaSalle, so like, how did everything go?
Okay, so the process was actually that year, I think third year ako nun. Billy Capistrano was the courtside of LaSalle and she was very close friends with my brother. They're batchmates, so kabarkada rin sila. College friends talaga sila. And yun, so she got close to the volleyball team and I think her parents also support the teams in LaSalle. So she was nice enough to introduce me to the team. So, yun yung reason kung ba't ako nakapag-training rin. Siya yung nagpakilala sa akin kay Coach Ramil and everything. And so, yun nga, like I said kanina, Coach Ramil took interest naman because of my height. And yun, from there, I trained in the summer with them. Tapos after noon, 4th year, that's when my dad just said, why don't you try an Ateneo? That naman, he was good friends with one of the players' dads. So, the dad of Ate Ariel Patnongon. So, he said, the usual, bro, my daughter wants to try out, I guess. So, it takes one call. They just made me go to training. And Coach Tai naman was the coach at the time, also really liked me. So it was, I never would have thought na people or coaches would actually take interest in me because, again, it was never in my agenda. So when they started contacting me, I didn't go to like Palaro or NCR or anything like that, which is the usual path, diba? So, yun, when I got there and they were saying na, we'd like for you to be part of the team, I was pretty overwhelmed. But yun, when I trained with Salle was always something to me, because my whole family's Lasallian. So my brother was there since preschool. My cousins went there, titos, titas, like whole family of Lasallians talaga. So I grew up being pissed at Ateneo. You can imagine. We would watch the basketball games talaga, and my dad would hate the Ateneans. So, the usual Ateneo Lasal rivalry, whatever. And then but then I got to Ateneo and I trained with them, and yun, it was just the feeling that I felt that I belonged there, and I felt more at home, more comfortable. That's it. I told my dad, I said, Dad, what if, kasi he just said talaga, try mo lang. It's like, you won't allow me naman eh. Which is kind of true. But then, so I was so scared to tell him. But when I did, it's like, Dad, what if I want to play for Ateneo? And then he's like, dapat pala, di na kita pinapuntahan. It's like, oh well. But, good thing naman that they were the type of parents who would still support me, whatever I wanted. So, but he cut a deal. He said, sige, fine. Papag-Ateneo lang kita kung pumasa ka ng asset. So I've never prayed so hard. Like, every day. Like, and, I was young, so the prayers I had then were like, Lord, please, ito lang talaga yung hihingin ko from you. After that, wala na. Basta pumasa lang ako na Ateneo, okay na ako. But then, yun, pumasa ako, and that's the story, pretty much.
Does your dad still cheer for LaSalle?
No more.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, it's
damn.
It's hard for him still, pero parang like what he explained it na parang yun, nakilala niya na rin kayo. Thirds, he knows the people na from Ateneo, so he's like, they're not so bad naman daw. So I'm like, oh, come on.
Wow.
You're okay.
It's good.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Pero also, follow-up question ko lang. What made you like Ateneo over LaSalle? Because I'm just, really curious.
Nothing much except that na I think the people, nothing against their team or anything. It's just, I guess I vibed with them more. I just felt more at home. The campus entering was so, like, I think everybody falls in love with the campus in Ateneo.
The best.
So yun pa lang. Yun na medyo na I felt at peace na. And it was harder kasi at that time also my parents were considering na kahit maglasal ako or whatever, gusto nila for me to come home. So I guess the comfort rin of knowing that Ateneo is so much closer and I wouldn't have that much of a hassle commuting every day to LaSalle. So very small factors, but just really the biggest factor was the feeling. I just followed it.
That's cool.
Definitely understand.
Also, you can say whatever you want. I mean, like, we can always cut it and everything if you don't.
Yeah. But that was really it naman, in fairness.
Anyways, so your first year at Ateneo, you guys went 16-0 and then won, obviously. Can you expound on how it was like being a rookie on such a talented team. And then I guess there were high expectations for you guys and the team. Can you like touch on how that was?
Being a rookie, coming in there as a rookie with them like that, it was really easy. That's all I'm gonna like. It was made so easy for me because Coach Ty's system was in place. Sina Ate Lai were beasts. I mean, hello, diba? So, yun, I mean, coming into the team, siguro, parang added na lang ako eh. Alam mo yun, they would have won either way with or without me, I think. But I was so lucky to have been part of the whole 16-0 thing. And I think it was just a solid experience being with those people after just watching them on TV. The same feeling na parang, oh my gosh, ang galing nila. And they would teach me, and they know me, and they would teach me what they know, and I'd see them on court and how they really are. It was really inspiring for me, honestly. And again, they made it so easy for me because I didn't have to think much. Hence me taking a while learning the rules because the system was there. It was easy. It was really easy for me, and super saya ko kasi I think it gave me a lot of confidence going into my next years na oy kaya ko na to kasi nga yun with ang galing na ng teammates ko eh, so no pressure on me at all. I really got the luxury of being a rookie where there wasn't much expectation from me, but they were meeting the expectations of everybody else, so I would shine in that way na there's no, at the back of my head there wasn't anything going on do well or be at this level already because no pressure.
Yeah.
I think it helped me a lot.
GV lang.
And yun, good thing is sinabi mo yung confidence kasi nga yung no pressure really helped you to, almost win the Rookie of the Year in your first year. But unfortunately, you injured your finger and you kind of lost the award. You said at that time na hindi siya masyado big deal, but just like the name of the show, no cap, did you really think it was no big deal to lose that award, especially knowing it was a very prestigious award and it's, you can never win that
Again.
anytime else, diba?
Yeah,
Aside from
yeah.
being a rookie.
Well, coming in my rookie year, I didn't expect anything. So it wasn't in my agenda na aim for Rookie of the Year. Kasi I knew about sina Ea at that time. Ea Laure was, I think, the closest to me in terms of Rookie of the Year. Well, she won it, obviously. But before it was awarded, she was my closest rival, I guess, or competitor with it. And I didn't at all expect it. I wasn't aiming for it. But when they told me na, oy, pwede ka maging Rookie of the Year, syempre, I mean, di ba, I think anyone would be like, oh my gosh, that would be pretty cool. Solid yun, rookie ka pa lang. Di ba? Parang sa'yo nun eh. Saktong yabang yun eh. Di ba? I mean, who wouldn't want to win it? So when I found out that I didn't get it na, with a lot of factors, with the injury, missing games, and whatever, I was sad, of course. Siyempre, sobrang yun for me, parang nandun ka na eh. And this accidental thing happens na hindi mo man control tapos hindi mapupunta sa'yo. Such is life. But, like you said, it wasn't like it was nothing. Hassle din siya. But it is what it is.
It is what it
is. Hirap talaga matanggal yung award, especially ikaw. First year mo pa lang, Rookie of the Year ka na. So, okay lang yan. So, after that, wala tumawa din sa joke ko, nakakainis.
Nag-gets ko.
Kakat naman natin to, guys.
Wait lang.
Wag, sama niyo yun.
Bad trip. Sobrang tumahimik kayo. Pero okay
sa totoo lang kasi naisip ko, nagkamali lang ba si Fitz or...
Oo nga, pa-joke o hindi.
Sorry.
Gusto mo ulit, tapos tatawa kami.
Hindi, okay na. Okay. Isama na natin sa highlights.
Sa bloopers.
Pero, yun nga. Coming from a championship freshman year, the next 3 years didn't really, go according to plan. major players, like key players graduated, injuries in the team. What was it like, being in the team at that time, and what was the process for you, having those 3 years na talagang, uh, as we would say na not really how you expected it to be.
Dun ko na-realize na I had it so easy as a rookie. So, like you said, a lot of key players graduated. Sina Ate Lai, sina Kiwi started graduating first. And sina Ate Den, Ate Els. And dun ko na-realize nga na parang there's more to this pala. I mean, babo. Pero I mean, it comes with the maturity with it. And dun mo na-feel na, okay, you do have to play at a certain level every game. And you do have to carry yourself in such a way. As you become a senior, you do have to carry yourself in such a way na the other girls, the younger girls especially, would respect you, but at the same time, be comfortable with you. So it took me a while para matimpla yon. And those 3 years were the hardest for me. Not just because we were losing, but because the system of Coach Tai was being contested on all ends by us, the players, because it was very hard for us. I think as girls, Ren, that we really want to be social people also in a sense. It was so hard to let go of so many things kasi doon lang naman nag-start kay Coach Tai. Doon lang naman nag-start yung culture na twice a day training and extra hard training. So it was very hard for the team because we felt at some point, kind of rebelling rin at some point na parang lagi na lang tayo magkakasama. So off the court, we wouldn't be together. We were friends, but I mean, it wouldn't be as solid of a bonding as we wanted. And we thought it was okay na. So we took for granted those little things, chemistry and talking, communication. So it on all ends, it was just crashing. And it didn't help that our coach didn't speak very well. So it was very hard for him to get the team together all the time. And it was very hard for him to tell us what he wanted to happen. So I think, mixing all of those factors together, it just really crumbled. Skills-wise, we knew it was there. So it was so hard to accept those things na we had to step up and we had to mature as players and as leaders most especially. Na syempre, job mo na as a leader na ikaw yung magyayaya, ikaw yung mag-reach out. And sometimes, diba, parang nakakatamad kasi totoo naman, diba, like lagi mo na nga silang kasama. But after a while, it's not too bad. I mean, honestly, they really become your family. So we were happy na eventually we fixed it and woke up and grew up, honestly, as a team.
Well, that's good. I mean, ganun talaga as you mature, nare-realize mo kano kalaki yung role mo sa team. And then, you start to accept it na rin. But, a follow-up question ko rin lang. You mentioned, diba, na you almost didn't play your final year for Ateneo.
Oh, yeah.
And, what was going on in your head during that time when you were making the decision? And, did the last 3 years sort of, affect that decision? Did it play a key role in,
Yeah. The last again, I said that those 3 years in the middle were so hard. On top of the team issues, I had my own issues, and the team itself, like I said, wasn't in a very good place. So people had their own groups. It was that type of team. You didn't really want to be part of it because parang, you felt like sometimes you were isolated. I think it went out around a lot in the team. So it was really sad. It was really tiring. And my last year, not my fourth year, so supposed last year at that time, I was deciding. It got really bad because there was the issue. I mean, it's out naman, the news. So there was an issue with Coach Tai where he wasn't supposed to be our coach anymore. And it just took so much from us, like mentally, physically, because there were so many meetings and there were so many ang daming usapan nun eh. Siyempre, so many things going around. It takes a toll on you na parang worth it pa ba to? But I think naman, at the back of my head, I think I always knew I was gonna play. Mainly because you had one more year to grab that championship. Why won't you, diba? I mean, di naman ako ganun kayabang para sa hindi ko kailangan yan. I don't need that in my life. So, no. I think I always knew I was gonna play, but I guess I needed that actual freedom to say na, yeah, I could actually not play and not think about it just for a couple of weeks. So that's what I did. I made sure I graduated in 4 years. So I just had the option. I really had the option not to play or not to play or play. Kasi nga, I mean, I had no ties with Ateneo technically, so they couldn't force me to be there. So I really had the freedom to choose. So I guess that's all I wanted from it. But the minute Coach O called me up, I knew my answer. So, and di na ako nagpabebe pa na, sige, Coach, usap tayo. Just, yeah, Coach, I'll play. Wala. Nah. No.
But yeah, it's so good to listen to that because I hear as a fan, I hear about all those stories na parang talented teams don't win a championship sometimes because of issues that go on. And then parang minsan parang it's just a story to me eh. Pero to see it, to hear it, parang it's proof na those little things can play a role and actually be big things.
Malaki talaga. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was one of the best decisions, friend, that you made in your life. Because obviously, your final season was incredible. You got your second championship. You won finals MVP. So that was really amazing. And I think you've answered the question enough about what the feeling was like and all. So I'll ask you something else. Has it ever hit you that you almost didn't play for the team that year?
No naman, because like I said, it was at the back of my head. I think I knew I was always gonna play. So never really hit me na parang it was almost it almost didn't happen for me. So no naman, it wasn't something I felt.
Okay, well, we've talked kind of about your athlete life. I think that's what most people know about you, but me, obviously, being your friend and all of us, seeing you around at school, like I said earlier, parang student, athlete, and you're, again, like I said, somebody who really takes studies seriously. I think we've had this conversation in JSEC before, na parang, what is the day in the life? What is the day in the life of an athlete? But you mentioned that earlier, naman, like how difficult it was for you in volleyball. But can you talk? You talked to me about this also, but talk about it to the listeners. Can you talk about like how you had to acclimate yourself with studies? Because I know you struggled for a bit there when you started in college, and then you ended up, getting first honors in some semesters. Like, how was that process for you acclimating in school?
It was very, very hard because in Poveda, we only trained twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we would have games on weekends. Going into college ball, I suddenly trained from twice a week to twice a day. So my first year, I was falling asleep in all of my classes. Struggle talaga. As in, 6 to 9, kakatapos ng training, I would rush. I would go to class. You know the feeling na kakaligo mo lang, pero because kaka-training mo lang, pawis ka kagad. So, ganun yung feeling. Yep.
Alam ko yung feeling.
I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling.
Me also.
Ganun yung feeling ko every morning class. And you were a freshman, di ba? So, most classes were in the morning. And then, wala pang aircon nun sa CTC and all of those. And then lahat classes ko. So, kadiri. Yun, I would fall asleep in all of my classes, even if I didn't want to. As in, funny story, like, alam mo yung, din nakaganyan ka. Tapos, when you kind of jerk when you fall asleep?
Yeah.
Yung gagano nga.
Sa class daw.
So, sobrang hassle kasi I hit my knee on the chair. It made such a loud noise. So, syempre, tingin lahat sa'yo, huli ka eh. So, like, oh no. And I was so embarrassed to my profs kasi I really didn't mean naman to sleep. Pero ganun lang kasi ako kapagod. Kasi nga, grabe yung adjustment ko from high school to college. So, well, my grades naman weren't the worst. But again, tanggap ko rin naman na I couldn't afford to be so tough on myself at that time. So, I would get okay naman grades. C+, mostly C pluses. So, after that, I guess, sanay-sanayan lang rin. And then, I'd make sure, lucky for us as athletes, they would allow us to choose naman our schedule. There was a lot of leeway for that for us. So, I would choose my schedule the way I wanted it. So, my was, after morning training, rest konti, tapos sunod-sunod class, mga 3. Tapos, tapos na ako by 1 or 2 para makatulog na ako and everything. So I just really balanced it out. But it took a lot of sacrifice talaga in terms of social life, of family life. I mean, I never got to see you guys in JSEC calls. So like, barely even. It was
Schedules
a
lang
rare
kapag nag-ano
occasion.
tayo eh.
Yeah,
Nasa library
so-
ako nun kaya hindi talaga.
Ako sa chapel.
Nasa chapel.
But yeah, yun. Sanayan lang rin siya, and then eventually you'd get the hang of it, and discarte lang rin with your profs. I'd make sure that they knew me, not as an athlete, but I just make sure na they'd know naman na I'd make an effort. Tipong kahit alam ko na yung sagot sa tanong ko, I'll just ask para lang may matanong ako. Yung mga ganong little things, like after class, sabi ko, sir, I need help kasi with this, parang medyo struggling. Kahit medyo gets ko naman. So, sobrang discarte lang rin just to make sure na, they see that I'm trying. So, it's a mix of that. Diba? So,
Yun yung mga tips na hinihingi namin eh. Yun ang hinihingi ng mga athletes eh.
yep. Factor yun pag kilala ka ng prof.
Yung C+ na sabi niya, so okay na grade ano C+ pinaghirapan na natin yun.
So ito
Parang
mga
ako
ni
nag-honor nun eh.
Nakahinga na tayo, no? Parang okay na ata, pwede na to. Kaya lahat.
All right, so Bea, what's your best advice to any athlete right now that's struggling with school, or those athletes who feel na like education isn't really a priority, or not necessarily a priority, but it's not as important as to what they're doing right now?
Well, my advice to them is to take it seriously, because you guys gotta stay in school to get to play for the school. So, I mean, you have to always take that into consideration. And at the end of the day, we're only athletes for a certain amount of time. It's a reality we all have to face. So, take it as seriously as you can. I respect naman the people na sometimes it's really just not their interest. But, gather as much as you can. And you'll never know kasi when you'll need it. You'll never know, knock on wood, you'll never know when the time comes you might get injured. You never know what will happen to you as an athlete. So you better equip yourself with the right amount of stuff, just so when the time comes, you'll be ready, diba? So it's just being realistic and being practical also at the same time. And ganun talaga. Kailangan. You have to be
Perfectly said.
smart about it.
Yeah, perfectly said. All right. So, Bea, that's actually the extent of most of what we're going to have to ask you. We just have this one final part that we do with every guest that we have, and it's called Fast Talk. So we're really just going to throw questions at you. They're not that hard. They're not that hard. You just got to say your answer, one answer quickly. I'm going to tell you right now, disclaimer, please just answer it in one word, and if you want to explain, we can talk about it after if you have anything to like explain about it, because when we've asked guests, like they'll go on and on, so we'll try to keep it fast talky.
Yung totoong
Fast
fast
talk.
talk.
Okay.
Yung totoong fast talk.
Got it.
Fast
Totoo.
talk.
Okay. So we'll start. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Fast talk with Bea de Leon. So, which title is more important to you, the first or the second?
The second.
Liberos, Danny Ravenna or Denden Lazaro?
Sorry, Danny. Dan Lazaro.
Dandan. Si Dandan daw.
Sorry, Dan pala. Minix. Para fair.
Joe or Maddie?
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Joe or Maddie?
Maddie.
Money or passion?
Passion.
Sports or smarts?
Smarts.
Favorite food?
Anything with gata.
Favorite alcohol? Oh.
Yun yung pinaka-nahirapan. Ano?
Parang may experience ka ata recently. Okay.
Right now, strong zero.
Ooh.
Zero.
Okay.
Hey, that's a gift to you.
Favorite teammate?
Oof. Oof. Ah. Oof. Ah.
Hirap.
Gotta say Jules.
Ito. Hatest opponent in the UAP.
Lasal.
Hatest opponent in the UAP na player.
Yes, sir.
Most embarrassing moment in the UAAP.
Oh, free ball tapos di ko natamaan.
It happens. At least you knew the rules already.
I knew I had to hit it. Di ko lang natamaan.
Okay.
At least the thought was there.
So that actually puts our fast talk to a close and ends our podcast with you, Bea. But one final thing. So we know that you just put out a segment with Tito Miko Lili and Gabe Norwood called Titans of the Game, and I watched a bit of it, and it really focuses on like role players, underrated members of some of these successful squads, diba? So before we go, can you just like lightly touch on that, where the idea came from, and invite people to kind of watch that series?
Well, sadly, I'm not too sure if I can invite them because of the whole commotion. So we have no idea what's gonna happen to it. But the inspiration behind it was first it started with me switching roles, and I saw how critical role players were in the team. And Kim was a big inspiration to the show, and I wanted people to know there was more to a championship team than just the MVPs. Where of course, 70%, 50% of what they need, but these little things, the role players and the people who do stuff behind the scenes, you can't win a championship without them. You'd be a great team, pero sila yung winning factor mo eh. If you don't have these people, wala kayo. And sobrang appreciate ko lang yun kasi when I changed roles, and I wanted to give them a platform na malaman din ng tao yung ginagawa nila, because I really gained much respect for them running the team and thinking for the team. Fun fact, Anton was supposed to be one of our guests. We were considering to get you because the inspiration behind that episode sana was kasi Kim's episode was she wasn't always first six, diba? But she was the magic bunot who would deliver crucial points for us. The next episode, we wanted to do something about you, Anton, na parang first five, crucial part of the team. I mean, hindi yung magic bunot or anything, but hindi rin the highest scorer, but you ran the team, controlled the tempo, gave everybody the role, made sure everybody was doing it. So parang captain of the ship, kumbaga, that type of control the tempo and everything. So that was pretty
captain.
Yeah.
Team captain.
Team captain.
Yeah, so hopefully be like that some way, somehow we could still continue that, because it honestly sounds like a really good idea. It sounds like something that can really show, people like you, people like Anton, people like Kim, like give them the spotlight that I think they do deserve.
Yeah, they really deserve
again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being in the third episode of the No Cap podcast. We hope that you enjoyed as much as we did, and we hope that you're able to find some time to get back into volleyball as soon as we all want to get back out as well. So that is the third episode of No Cap with Bea de Leon. So for third year Vena Anton and Mark, this is the No Cap podcast. I'm Colin Salau signing off.
Peace.